What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. In this video, we're going to be looking at a 2005 Lexus GS300. Car was towed in for a no start condition. I initially hooked up the jumper to see if it would start, and it still doesn't start. Even with the jumper off, the lights come on nice and bright. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to hook up a scanner first, see if there's any codes in the system for a immobilizer problem. If not, then I'm going to go ahead and look at the starting system. Customer did say it's probably going to be an alternator, but the thing is, if the alternator was bad, battery would probably be dead. We wouldn't be stuck here with the starting issue where the lights are coming on nice and bright. Even if it was a battery issue, the jumper would have started it. So let's go ahead and get the scanner hooked up, see if I have any codes for any immobilizer or key problem. If there's nothing in the system for that, then we're going to go ahead and go into the hood, get to the starter relay and make sure we're getting a signal, and then see if we can jump the starter from there. Okay, scan tool is hooked up. Let's go ahead and check it. This being a diag, we're going to do this in real time. That way what I see, you guys will see as well. Hopefully the glare from the sun's not too bad. A little bit of glare right here, but nothing I can do about that, really. I will scan. Let's go ahead and scan this. And hopefully it's clean. That way we can just go ahead and check a physical starter. If that's the case, oh wow. Okay. Let's see what all 11 codes we have here. Okay, just let it do its thing. Again, I'm not going to cut through this. I'm going to do this in real time. Diags, I'm going to try and keep them live, and what I do is what you're going to see. Unless it's something that's going to take me a lot of time to either take something off or get around something, then yeah, I'm going to cut it. But for the most part, let's do this in real time. Okay, we're 50%. It's getting there. Just bear with it. There are a lot of modules on these cars. There's like a module everywhere on this car. Each individual door has its own. Overhead usually has a module. There's a module here, a module there. Hey, let's go. Module everywhere. Okay, I didn't even check to see if it was anything on an immobilizer. I don't think we've read the module for that one yet. Alright, we're at 80%, 90%, so we're just about done scanning this car. And that's... Come on, come on. We'll just see if it was picking up the smart access. Alright, I don't see it just yet. Could be in one of those body modules. Could be under the smart access. Okay, go to report. And let's see what we have. And we got misfire. Crankshaft. So these are pending. Oh, wow. Alright, so we have pending codes. We have a current code for misfire. 4 and 5, random. Okay, engine control system fault, ABS low or high power voltage. Question, which one is that for? The power steering. Control stop. Okay, so what I'm going to go ahead and do now is I'm going to get under there. I'm going to check the starter. So once we go ahead and check the starter, I'm going to see if we're getting a signal from the, when you push the key, or in this case, when you push the stop and start key. I'm going to see if we get a signal to the starter, and then I'm going to try and jump the starter and see if we get any noise. So let's go ahead and reposition the camera and let's go check the starter. All right, so we come over here to the fuse box. I have my power probe out. Now, if you guys are interested in which power probe I'm using, I will link it in the description in case you're interested. Same thing goes with the scan tool. So let's get the starter relay out. Doesn't look burnt, so that's good. So we have the key on, obviously engine's off. Now let's go ahead and make sure we have power on 2 separate lugs. Okay, power there. That's going to be the one that runs to our starter. What happened? It's fine.
It's fine? It's fine?
Not yet. Probably just a starter. You do me a favor? You want to go, yeah, push on the key for me. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have it one more time. Hold on one second. Do it again. On. Off. All right. Push a button. All right. Yeah, the relay is working. Yeah, thank you. Okay. Now, so I'm gonna go. The starter is on the bottom, so I'm just gonna check.
Relay, right? That's a relay, right?
Yeah, it's a small relay for that car, though. I'm gonna go check it on the bottom now. Make sure it's getting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Check the signal and then deal. I don't remember. It's been a while. All right, so the relay is good. We're getting a signal. So I'm gonna lift the car up and then we're gonna check it at the starter and we're gonna run that test again. All right, we come under the car and there is the starter. So I just wanna show you guys where it's at. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna take off that connector right there and I'm gonna probe it. And I'm also gonna check the main battery lug just to make sure we have 12 volts going to the starter. And then I'm gonna hook up a spade connector to the connector. Coming off the harness, I am gonna hook up my longer connector, my longer wire to it. And then we're going to drop the car back down and we're going to try this test again. And I'll show you how that looks once I get it set up. Alright, well I can't get you in there to see me doing it. You can watch me do it as I basically get in there and get the main lug off. Okay, and now that's going to take a female spade, or a male spade. Okay. But the one thing that I want to check is if I have power going to the main lug. That's the main thing. So I have power going to the main lug. So we're going to use this. Just going to touch, see if I can see it. Actually going to leave the power probe right here because I can actually see it perfectly fine from here. And we are going to check 1. Okay, nothing there. Checking number 2, and we have 12 volts. Let's see if I can catch that on camera. Actually, let's do this. Just to show you guys what I'm looking for. This is the main one coming from the battery, and we have to have 12 volts present. So we got 12 volts, 12.35, which is good. So that's fine. I just have that clamped on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my connector for the starter lug, and then I will plug it in and I'll show you how it looks, and then we'll go ahead and test it. Alright, so we're going to use this male spade connector. I'm going to get it in there, and then again, I'm going to show you once I have it hooked up. And hopefully this one actually fits. Might be too big actually. I might have to use a smaller one. It might not be the right. Yeah, let me get the smaller one then. Alright, so it seems like my smaller adapter is missing in action at this present time. Possible that it just grew legs and walked away. You love it. So, all I'll go ahead and do is I'll use a back probe, and we'll use my alligator clamps, and then we'll just do it like that. That should be fine. So let's get the alligator, there's a back probe in there. Make sure we're with contact. We do. We gotta make sure you keep it away from the ground as well. So we're gonna put the green one back on. We'll go ahead and clamp it. Try to keep it away from the starter itself. Okay. And I'm going to move the camera and I'm going to show you guys what I have as far as setup goes. Alright, so there's a setup. There is the starter lead that's coming off the wiring harness that normally goes to the starter. I got my back probe in it. I got my clamp on that. So let's go ahead and drop the car down and get the car started and let's see what we get. Okay, so I got the battery, the relay hooked back up, plugged back in, ready to go. I got the starter lead set up, so I'm going to go ahead and get in here real quick. And unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see it. I might be able to do it with another person so you can see, but I do want to see if I'm getting power. And I have 12 volts to the starter. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can get this positioned to a spot where you can potentially see what I'm seeing. Maybe, let me see. Let's get this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and drop you down real quick. Hopefully you can see it. All right, power probe is right here. So what we're looking for is either a, come on. Yeah, let's try that. Voltage here or a red light. So here we go. Getting in the car right now, and we are going to attempt to start it. And I don't know if that showed or not. Hopefully it did. But I am getting voltage. One, and if you're wondering how to replace the starter, yeah, one here. Oh yeah, one here, one just above it. And that thing just comes right out. You take off the connector, take off the main battery lug, and you're good to go. So hopefully we get assigned this starter job. But there's one more step I got to do to confirm the starter is bad, and we'll go do that right now. Okay, so there's one more step you need to do to confirm that it's just a starter problem. And you might be thinking, hey, you have power, you have ground, the starter is getting a signal, it should be just a starter. Well, no. You want to spin the engine over by hand to make sure the engine is not seized up for any reason. So we'll get our 22mm socket right here. We'll put it on the crank and we'll just make sure that the engine spins free. Just get a couple turns on it and the engine does spin free, so we're not locked up. So that is good. Now we do have those codes in the system. I'm definitely going to, let me turn this up a little bit. I'm definitely going to notate those codes, especially the ones for the crank and the cam signal. And then we'll get the car started with the starter being replaced. And then we'll go from there as far as probably just going to clear the codes, road test it, see what comes back. But definitely going to keep an eye on the cam and the crank codes. And then we'll go from there. Oh, and the misfire codes. There were misfire codes that were current. So definitely want to see what's going up with that. So for now, let's go ahead and get the starter recommended, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we have approval to go ahead and replace the starter, so I'm going to go ahead and swap that out. That way we can see if the car actually starts after that. It's possible that having a bad crank sensor may have caused them to burn up the starter. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get the starter out, get the new one in, and we'll check it after that. the old starter out. Like I said, it's just two bolts right here. There's one here, one here. You get the connector off. You get the main battery lug off right here. And then that's it. The 14 millimeter swivel is what I use here. 14 millimeter swivel on here with an extension on both. 1/4 inch drive, 12 millimeter shallow socket right here. And then obviously this was done by hand. What you also see me do, let me get my camera, is I took off the bolt right there for the motor mount. And then I basically just lifted the engine up on the side. That gives you plenty of room to get that starter out. Just back around to me. Sorry about that. So yeah, the socket I use, 14 millimeter swivel. I'll link these brand down in the description. 2 extensions. The extension brand doesn't really matter. Just have a long extension. And then obviously my 3/8 long ratchet and a 3/8 Milwaukee impact. The 1/4 inch, where we at? This is what you're going to use to get that battery lug off. Nothing special. Any 1/4 inch drive will do. So let's go ahead and wait till the new starter to come in, and then we'll get this thing reinstalled. All right, so we got the new starter, and we're going to go ahead and install this. So I'm not going to move the camera around. I'm just going to keep it in one spot. That way we can go ahead and get this installed really quick, and then attempt to crank it. All right, guys. So the starter is installed. So let's go ahead and crank it over. See what we got. Okay, so this start. That's good. It's a good sign. Check engine light is not active right now, but obviously I had the battery off, so that would be why. When I started a few times. Okay. Alright, so we're looking good so far. I am going to go ahead and scan it one more time. Just to make sure that it's fine. See what codes. Turn that off. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and connect the scan tool to it again. We're connected. So let's go ahead and exit. Auto scan. Let's go ahead and do this on camera. Do it right there. Keep it simple, huh? There's for scanning it again. Engine fault codes are gone. Obviously, I had the battery disconnected the whole time, so we lost those. But they were notated down, so if something was back, at least I know what they were. We could still have a problem with the intermittent failure of the crank sensor. That could have been what caused the starter to go bad, or those codes could have been from something else. Who knows? You know, customer doesn't really give us a full history. We just kind of get what we get, and that's it. So let me just let it continue to scan. But as of right now, ECM is clear with no faults. I want to go live data. I want to see cam syncing. That's what I want to see. I just want to see if this gives me that PID to check the cam sync, especially while cranking. So let's go ahead and just let this run through. At the same time, we'll let the car warm up. See if we get any misfires. Yeah, so just bear with me. Like I said originally, there's a lot of modules on this car, and it's going to take forever to run these last couple ones. Actually, it didn't take that long, so that's good. Wasn't as long as the first time. Let's get into live data. Now, I didn't see correlation codes. It just said bank 1, bank 2 for the cam, and then there was one for the crank. So again, I don't know what all was done to this car, what happened to the car, if anybody touched it previously before us. I don't know. Ooh, look at those fuel trims. Fuel trims are kind of off a little bit, aren't they? This one, still a little high. But that one at negative 17, that's way off. So there is definitely something else going on with this car. Let me... Okay, let me see if there's a fuel trim reset. I did have the vacuum booster line off when I first started it. That was just from lifting up the engine. Nothing there. Doesn't seem to be anything in here either. Alright, let's go to get back here, hot functions. Sometimes there's like something in there for that. Maybe injector? No. Okay, it doesn't seem like it's going to give me that option. Okay, well, truck is running, or I mean the car is running, so that's a start. Next thing I can go do is road test it, make sure everything's fine, and then if I don't find any problems as far as the road test goes, I'll report back, and then we'll probably just release it to the customer and see what happens when it comes back, because I'm pretty sure it will come back for a fuel trim code. But I didn't have those codes when it came in, so I guess we'll have to see. Let me go road test it and then I'll report back. Alright guys, so back from the road test. The car drove great. I had no problems. I had no error messages, no warning on the dash. Fuel trims look good all the way through. So this car is good to go. Now, as far as the codes for the misfire and the cam and crank sensor codes, I don't know what brought them on. I notated them on the paperwork. We'll let the customer know. But as far as it goes right now, it's starting up perfectly fine. I started it multiple times even when I came back. Had no problems whatsoever. So the tools that I use in this video, I'm going to go ahead and link them in the description. So if you want to do this car at your home, you at least know what tools you do need. It is doable on the ground. Jack stands, lift up the engine a little bit, that starter comes right out. You don't have to drop any part of the exhaust. So it's fairly easy to do. Until next time, guys, you guys have a good one.